Is it a good idea to tell a narcissist that he or she is one? Or is it better to keep that information for yourself and not say anything? Hi, this is Ava from Soul GPS, and today we're going to dive into that question. It's again one of those questions that keeps coming up in my practice, and as a matter of fact, I was just talking to one of my clients about this, and I wanted to right away put on my camera and shoot this video for you because it's a very, very important topic, and it can end up being really harmful to you and to other people if you don't understand how the narcissist works in this particular context. So it is very dangerous. I'm just going to get right to it. It's very dangerous to engage in any kind of psychological conversation with a narcissist, with a manipulator. Why? Because as default, they will take all the information from you and then twist it and use it against you. It is what they do. They always have to be right. They believe very deeply that the way that they are is great. It's perfect. It's you know, their truth is on their side. You are the enemy. Everyone is an enemy. Now we can get into why, you know, the dynamic is the psychological dynamics of why that is, but there isn't really enough time in this video because I really wanted to just focus on this. But to give you a quick glimpse, it is basically a default mechanism that they develop over the years to cover up their inner toxic shame, because they don't want to feel the shame. They don't want to fall into the depression that would inevitably result if they were to really look at the actions that they have done and really look at themselves and who they are. They want to avoid that, so they skirt all the issues and they create this grandiose image of themselves. Overt narcissists are going to have that grandiosity much more pronounced than the covert narcissists. The coverts are generally the victim types, but there's still grandiosity even in their victimhood. So that's kind of in a nutshell. So everyone on the outside who challenges that is an enemy, is perceived enemy. So just imagine when you walk up to that person and tell them, I think you're a narcissist, i.e. there's something wrong with you, they're not going to take this well. They may not show it right away, but they're not going to let that slide. They may do one of three things. Now this is complete generalization, because they're always, you know, there's always a lot of combinations and gray zones and nuances. But I wanted to list those three for you so that you know what to expect in the event that you do this, or in the event that you are thinking about doing this. In all of these cases, it's going to be used against you. Number one, if he or she picks up the clue of what you're saying and they're smart and they're curious, they're going to dive into the information, study the material, and the outcome is that they're going to get better at their manipulation, better at their tactics. So it will circle back around either to you or to other people later down the road who will interact with them, and they'll get better at it. And unfortunately, that's one of the side effects of me having a channel like this and other amazing coaches out there who are talking about this topic, is that it does, in a way, it does end up empowering narcissists with more information. I'm sure they're watching my channel, I'm sure they're watching other channels, they're learning, they're getting smarter. But I tell you what, we're getting smarter too, so it's okay. So that's the one effect you can get. The second effect is that they can use it as a smear campaign against you. They will try to turn you into the narcissist. How do they do this? Well, they're going to hijack your empathy, and they will activate self-blame. It's what they do all the time. It's almost like it's like there's some sort of an AI that it's programmed in a way to evoke that in people. They take your information, they'll twist it, and then give it back to you, so that you feel bad about what you just said, you feel bad about what you do, you feel bad about everything about you. It's that shame, is that they evoke that shame. See, they have so much of it, it's so toxic, it leaks out in everything that they do. So you end up walking around feeling like you just caused something really horrible, when all you wanted to do was to help this person, right? So hyper empathy is empathy taken a step too far. Even if you take something good and you have too much of it, it can be harmful. Like, think of sugar, right? So nice, so sweet, so seemingly harmless. Well, now we know it's not the case. It is harmful if you have too much. So it's the same thing with empathy. You want to protect it. It's a gift. It's a gift you give to those who really truly deserve it. And the most important person who should be the recipient of empathy is you. Okay, the third outcome you may get as a result of telling a narcissist that he or she are a narcissist is that they will admit, yes, you're right. Hey, the clever ones, I have a problem. I obviously do, right? And then it makes you go, huh? Right? What do? You lean in. You give them the benefit of the doubt, right? So they will try to this way make you believe that they're making progress, that they're working on themselves. And that's what many do when they feel like they're losing you. Now, the smart ones they've put you through so many of these cycles, and they always know that you're going to come back. So they're very comfortable and confident about it. So they will push you, they will prod you, they will tell you horrible things, they will criticize you, and you keep coming back, so they keep getting worse at it. I mean, keep doing worse things to you. And then eventually you're like, I've had enough, I'm done. And then they'll say, oh, you're right, that was too far, baby, I'm so sorry, especially in romantic relationships, maybe in familial relationships as well, but definitely in romantic relationships. And then what does that do is it will evoke that hope again, that toxic hope. They will tell you they're going to therapy now, they're going to work on self-development, and maybe for a few days they will. And I've had so many cases with my clients where that has happened. They've contacted me after so many years of trying to work it out, only to find out, that they had an affair for the last 4 years. We've been working on it for 5 years, but for 4 years he has had an affair. He's just gotten better at hiding it. Or she, again, it happens to both genders. So be very careful with this. These are all traps to be aware of, so don't tell. Protect your process. Your process of self-healing and returning back to yourself is incredibly sacred. Protected. If you want to learn more about the mind of a narcissist, obviously I can't convey it the same way as an actual true narcissist or a sociopath would. Like, for instance, Sam Vaknin or HG Tudor. These are good channels to look at. I will admit personally that I can't listen to them for very long. It's just super draining. But I remember one of the things that I have read that really stuck with me in one of HG Tudor's articles was that one of their favorite things for a sociopath to do is to break the trust and disappoint repetitively and hurt the empath. It's like it's like some war, that they get into. It's very sadistic. Is they just love to see the disappointment and the pain on your face over and over again. Because then they feel like they really have power over you. So that's just a tiny little glimpse. It's really sick. It's really twisted. But they have to hide that, right? Because otherwise you would have never fallen for the tricks. So instead you see the good side, the positive side, the good, of course, in quotations, the fake side. And it's very charming. So in all of the cases where you tell the narcissist in the 3 steps I listed, which is that they will get better at manipulating, they will use it against you in a smear campaign, make you the narcissist, or they will admit that they have a problem and then lure you and seduce you right back into the dynamic, it will make you go off track. So if you have already gone through an awakening process, I know it's hard, I know it's difficult, that's why I'm here. If you need help, reach out to me, let's work together, because I want to help you get through this, especially the first few months. The first 2 months are the worst, of sticking to your guns, putting the shields in place, the boundaries, the security checks, so that you don't get back into it, because after some times the clarity comes and you're no longer as susceptible to being pulled back. So talk to other people, read up about it, read books, anything you can to protect yourself. But don't let it go off track. It's of no use. Telling them this is it's of no use. I've never seen it have a positive effect. So yeah, the mind is pretty twisted in that way. So I want to leave you with one last thought about this, which is that there is this one little silver lining in when it comes to what you can do when you're leaving the narcissist. You can leave an actual positive effect. And you can do this the most when you actually yank yourself out, you close the door, you lock the door, and you disappear. It's almost as if when they don't know what hit them, when they don't know what just happened, that's the only time when there is tiny possibility, tiny, if I could say, hope for self-reflection. Because they'll go like, why, right? But they don't have you to talk to figure this out. So maybe, I mean, the hope here is so small. It's like 0.0001% that they may go on an internal journey and have a moment of reflection. Now, most of them will not. Most of them will go into a reactive space, get really angry, and go on a rampage and look for another target. Or, you know, some will go on a sex rampage. Or some of them will get really angry and like beat somebody up. Others will slide into a depression. I mean, I've seen so many. But maybe there will be that little bit. Now, that little bit of a chance that they will self-reflect. They need to do it on their own. It's just like with everyone changing. You can't make anyone change. The change has to come from within. They have to really want it, just like you want change now because of how incredibly hurt you feel, of how much this hurts. That's the thing that's inspiring you to work on yourself. That's why you're here. It's the same thing with them. They have to feel a deep impulse to want to change. Now again, they work differently. It's a very different mindset, and so they will follow a different path. Now, I don't want to put any false hope in your mind, and I don't want you to do this and leave just because you are hoping for that effect and for them to come back to you. And again, it's the same mentality. Notice they come back and they tell you, you know, thank you, I realized who I am, I'm very sorry. This happens a lot. So this is back to step 3, which manifests at this point as hoovering. So avoid it. I want you to lock your door, I want you to walk away, and I want you to live a most awesome life you can and connect with people who are good and who are worthy of your love. That will come eventually. You know, I know right away it's like you want to stay away, you want to heal yourself. I understand that, but eventually, you know, you will come out of hiding, you will come out of hibernation, you will start connecting with really wonderful people. That's a whole other, you know, big topic that I want to talk about more in this channel, about how do you prepare yourself for a beautiful relationship down the road. But don't do this with this person. Don't fall for the trap. It's only going to keep you enslaved. It's going to keep you susceptible to more abuse. So keep working on yourself. Don't tell them what's going on. Don't talk about it at all. Keep it to yourself and use it as a catalyst for your own self-growth. Thank you so much for your attention, and I look forward to connecting with you in another video. Thank you. Bye-bye. I wanted to add one more message to you. In the event you're interested in joining us in New York and San Francisco for a workshop on boundaries and assertiveness, still have a handful of spots, very few, they're going pretty fast. So let me know by sending me an email to soulgpsevents@gmail.com. More information is below this video. Thank you.